Good morning. Today's Monday, July 13th, new moon. So kind of taking it easy today, kind of seeing what patterns set up. We had some Chinese stocks move in last week on Friday with the new Iran conflict flare up. So I'll be kind of looking at those this morning, see what sets up for day ones, and see what else we can find. Yeah, primary trend last week was definitely China, and we saw that before when the Iran conflict flared up. For some reason, a lot of the Chinese and Hong Kong stocks were popping, so I'll keep those on the radar. I also wanted to check out oil, see how that's looking. It's good. It's not too crazy. Okay. Not totally sure how the day twos are going to behave yet, so I might hold off on them. It's hard to predict sometimes with what the market's going to do, especially with the renewed conflict. Not super interested in the day twos. We'll keep them on my watch just in case. HCAT. Soon had some action Friday. Didn't see that coming. It was a ton of volume poured in. Soon is a solar company based in Minnesota, and it got like over 14 million volume on just that bar there. Tons of volume pouring into Soon. Not sure why. Private equity fund. Okay, this is some catalyst. I might keep an eye on it just to see what it does. Nothing interesting there. Nothing there. See some volume coming in on this one. It's kind of a strange looking chart on the 3-month. JZXN for possible day two. Maybe if it broke through 140s, 130s into the 120s. Maybe like a 127 to 122 pickup. Might get a bounce off of it, but I'm not sure how the second days are going to behave on the Chinese squeezes from Friday just yet. Sometimes they taper down. Checking the macros. We look at CNBC, just kind of check the news, what's going on. Looks like the US and Iran are still exchanging strikes, so Middle East escalation. Oil is up again, not good for gas prices. Crypto is still hanging out around 62,000 on Bitcoin. I'm not super interested in crypto. I just like to see what it's doing as an indicator for market sentiment. Gold, yeah, so it looks like still kind of that wartime positioning here. I'm kind of surprised Battle isn't running more of this oil stock here. Looks like pretty light volume on oil. Oh, this is 1 million plus. Yeah, I could definitely keep an eye on oil this week, unfortunately. Check my previous day ones. I think what's going to happen is if I see a Chinese stock on day two, maybe start moving, I might check out the other ones and see if I can get in early if volume does start pouring in. And it is a Monday. It's also a new moon, so I like to use Mondays and the new moon time to sort of get a reset and a new feel for the market. So today I'm probably going to be taking it easy. The goal is small profit or zero. So nothing risky. It'd have to be a pretty convincing setup. What is this? Looks like we got a big pre-market run here. 2 mil volume, LGPS. What are you? Fiscal results, cash dividend. Okay, looks like some financial update news. This is cash dividend. Looks like a Japanese stock, okay. LGPS is a Japanese real estate. Sub 7 mil float, cash positive, no dilution mentioned. Okay, so overall good catalyst. So I haven't seen Japanese stocks recently, not totally sure how it's going to behave. Well, let's see if we can find any supports here. Might get interested if it breaks $1. A lot of times they like to pull through $1 into the 90-cent range, sort of causing a panic for everyone who put a support at 1. And it does sort of a liquidity sweep to the low 90s typically. That looks like where this one's setting up, so I might get interested if it does pull around the dollar area. So just going to put an entry around 99 cents. Although it still looks a bit low. Even if it does get away, even if it bounces high and gets away from me, that's totally okay, because then I'll kind of keep the Japanese stocks on the radar for this week. UPS. IPO. Well, cracked. Well, this was kind of a big crack there for a pre-market from $1 to 71 cents. Okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with how IPOs behave because they recently came onto the market, so I feel like I don't have much reference on what they can do. So to me, it feels a bit random. Maybe you could trade some technicals and bounces. I just don't feel like I have any edge with IPOs, so I'm just watching it for now. Alright, that's it for day one. Just gonna check my watch lists, make sure I'm not missing any volume pre-market. Seems to be pretty quiet as far as the Asian stocks. Definitely going to be watching the day twos from Friday. BQ has been a big runner. Kind of curious to see what BQ does this morning. Okay, so not much going on. I actually anticipated there to be more volume coming in on the Asian stocks because for some reason when the Middle East tensions pick up, I've seen the Chinese and Hong Kong come into play pretty heavily, but not looking like that so far. Could change. Okay, just gonna check my news alerts. Looks like we got some news on Chris, CRIS. A recent reverse split. Catalyst. Look, it had much of a catalyst. Okay, so I'll leave that alone for now. HAO. Smashed. Looks like dilution. Yeah, lots of volume. Got crushed. Still might keep an eye on it for day two. I'm just gonna check dilution on HAO. China comms, advertising, cash positive. Got warrants at 60 cents. So makes sense there. They have a shelf without restriction. So yeah, it looks like they just dumped into this little pump here. But yeah, we'll still kind of keep an eye on it. Alright, checking this percent gainer scan. We got Mimi. Mimi is Chinese, I believe. Okay, potential area from 257 to 240-ish. Big volume. Doesn't look like there's a catalyst. Pretty decent volume coming in pre-market. Yeah, I might be interested around the 257 area if it does get through 270, potentially. I'm just gonna check dilution on Mimi. Oh, Hong Kong Industrials, negative cash. They do have a shelf, but it has a restriction. So reasonable stock there. I'm definitely gonna keep that on my watch. Moving along. Whoa, $10. Okay, that was a big move on this one. I went from $4 to $10.93 pre-market. Trading announced merger with concurrent privatization with its recreational marine business. I'm just gonna see what V is. I'm not gonna trade it, but just see what sector. U.S. consumer fits the trend from last week. Recreational vehicles. Okay. Check to make sure they're not doing an offering or anything. Looks pretty safe. Low float. Okay. Not gonna trade it, but I will keep it on my radar just to see what it does. Okay. US Bio, not very interested. VRAX had a big run last week off of a reverse split. TO was previously Hoth. Big volume day 2. Really looking forward to these Asian stocks coming back into play. I thought I had missed out because I thought they had gone away, but really hoping they come back so I can capitalize more on their giant moves. So if they are back, I'd be pretty happy with that. So I might be able to actually take more advantage of them. here. Oh, good volume. RCT is UK software tech, negative cash, warrants at 150 at 57 cents. It's not quite there yet. Relatively safe. UK tech. I haven't seen much UK tech around. I'm not sure. Okay, so they do have a catalyst. Pretty good volume, healthy volume. I'm just not totally sure how these UK techs will behave yet. It is Monday, and this is a newer sector, so I'll definitely keep an eye on it. Just I don't know if I'll trade it or not, but I'm gonna throw it on the watch list just because it is bringing in good volume and good pre-market structure. We went from 23 cents, 31 cents, not huge, but it's a pretty significant move. So on the radar. Okay, so nothing much on the scanner. I'm gonna check my other list here. Asian. Where are you? Asian is US Bio. Okay. Pretty big move. Registered warrants pretty high. They do have a shelf without restriction. They are cash positive, but barely. A huge float. Also not really interested in that giant float. This looks appealing. PLSM is Israel Medical Devices. I wish it was Asian. It's a nice little kind of pre-market scoop, but still pretty high up in the fives. So I'll leave that one alone. QTDB, super high. Maybe FTRK. TRK, 82 cents. It's a crazy looking chart. TRK is Singapore Comms. Negative cash, warrants at 54 cents. Or not registered, never mind. So pretty safe. Singapore could fit that Asian theme. So I will add that one to the watch. It's a good volume here. Pretty wobbly looking. Potentially a 190. 180s would be surprising if it breaks through this pre-market structure here. Looks like we kind of have a good support here around 190, potentially down to the 180s. I'll be right back. So it looks like EHGO has an offering in progress, so I won't be messing with that. Alright, so this looks like the list for today. We have Soon, Sober, RCT, Mimi, LGPS, JZXN, FTRK, and BQ. Let's see. So RCT is one of the few with the catalyst this morning. I think this is the UK bio. Could get interested if it breaks through this area. It does have good volume. Just haven't seen any UK techs recently, so I'm not totally sure how it's going to behave, but the technicals look healthy, just all the volume that's coming in. Where did we say our levels were here on the fib tool? We got something around 25 cents. Yeah, I'd ideally like to see it pull into the 24-cent range, especially that it's Monday and it's something that hasn't quite been in play. So somewhere down here. Okay, not super interested in Sober. Mimi is a Chinese stock. It is in play. Hong Kong, sorry. I could start getting interested definitely around this area if it does get low enough for me on Monday here. 257 would be my entry if I can get that. It looks like a pretty healthy level there. 257. JZXN 140. This is a day 2. I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. What was FTRK again? FTRK is Singapore comms. Pretty heavy down volume pre-market. It did kind of recover a bit. I call these like the rainbow patterns. Sometimes they gap up and then gap back down equally. It's sort of like a double bottom sort of idea. It's just I'm not quite sure how these Singapore ones are behaving just yet. So it'd be less conviction, but somewhere in this area I might be interested. Okay. RCT was that UK vibe, right? Yes, okay. I'm just kind of getting familiar with these picks for this morning, so I can quickly reference them when I need to. Looks like good volume there. 267, yeah. Okay, I like how it's picking up off the scoop here. I'll just take a quick shot at it on open if it gives me like low 290s. RCT. Didn't quite crack far enough just yet. It might still push to low 290, so we can give that a try. Here we go. Okay, picked up a position at 294.5. See if we could push it over 3. Okay, closed it at 3. just for a quick little Monday profit. And that might be all I'm gonna do for today. Nice push again. Okay. So just a quick trade on Mimi. It looks like it is. Wow, it pushed up to 320s already. So little trade, but it missed kind of a little move there. That's okay. Let's see if anything else is looking decent. Potentially LGPS at low 90s. Wow, that could hit VWAP too. Big volume off that little morning dip. I like to see that. That's exciting for the rest of the week. Really fun play off that scoop. Wasn't paying attention. Looks like RCT went down to that 24-cent level with a nice bounce back up into the 27s. I missed it. Did my alert go off? I didn't even notice. Maybe it did. FTRK still looks a little interesting if it breaks through to the low 40 cents. Just to kind of complete that rainbow looking pattern, double bottom. I think it's Japanese, yeah. So somewhat fit in the sector theme, but I'm being patient with it. RCT potentially entry at around the 22 cents. If it breaks further down, which wouldn't be surprising. Checking the macros, looks like S&P is up, NASDAQ down, Russell is down, interest rates are up, and the Golden Dragon is up, which is good. Golden Dragon is kind of the Asian index that I kind of found. So it's a good indicator on the macros of what's going on over there. potentially get another bounce off the 290 area, back off of this support. I want it to hit VWAP. I want it to go through VWAP up into the fours, just so I can get excited for the week and kind of ensure that these are coming back into play. Just not sure if we're going to get follow through yet. But really cool little bounce. Just right off the open there. Zoom in. Let's see volumes. For this one, I like to see it push pretty hard through 44 cents into the low 40s. It's like 42 to 39. RCT. Kind of hesitating. I missed that lower entry at 21.9. That was the ideal entry right here. But it's not quite within sector, and I'm trying to be careful today, so I'm not upset. I just keep an eye on it, see how it plays out. Big volume on LGPS right now. I'd like to see this kind of squeeze up into the 26 area if it does recover. Looks like it's got a lot of like bag holders from the previous run. It's been on a significant downtrend, so not my favorite. However, look at that. Potentially look at an entry below 117. I bet people are going to risk off this area, and it might fall through to a lower support, just because it's going to want to be tricky today. Or it could just pull up to the 123 area and keep going. That'd also be good to see. Check the scan real quick. CPOP. It's one of my favorite Chinese stocks. Nothing. And not much new on the scanner. Pretty good volume, 2 mil plus on those, that in the 2 minutes. Good pre-market action. And somewhat within the sector. And there's that double bottom idea, kind of that backside bounce. It'd be cool if we could follow through up to VWAP, through VWAP into the pre-market highs. But I'm just watching for today. Still, the 257 area is still potentially interesting. I'd like to see this crack violently through here and reach these levels. I know people probably risk off of this little pre-market dip, but I'd like to see it fail into a different support. That's usually how it goes in small cap. Spotting those fake outs. But I hope it continues on and pushes through the pre-market high here at 425. That would be really exciting. It's not much follow through yet on RCT, but that was a nice bounce. Nice little snappy bounce. I would have liked to see more follow through, but that's okay. It could still recover. Looks like BQ is, what was the day? That was day one. Really? Oh, it looks like, is that pre-market? Yeah. So finally get some movement on BQ. Super low volume. LGPS. still like to see a crack through to the low 90s, ideally, if I were to take an entry on LGPS here. Okay, it looks like all macros are down. NASDAQ is extra down. Russell's down, but the Golden Dragon is up. So, like I said, I don't know why, but in these conflict times, the Golden Dragon presents a lot of opportunity. So, okay, I think that's it for today's session. I'm probably going to keep an eye on a few of these. Not sure if I'll trade them yet, but I don't want to keep the screen time going. Just me looking through charts. But yeah, that was a good day. Some quick profit. And yeah, I'll see what happens today. Do an after hours review of the market and kind of see what trends are setting up for the week. But yeah, super fun. Thanks.